Have you got any Valentine's activities planned yet with your children? Here at Curious Kids 101, I'm here to help with a free download pack of activities and guidance on how to make the most of them, as well as a fab simple recipe for these delicious Valentine's Day cookies. If that sounds like something you're interested in, and you want some other ideas like these in the future, hit that subscribe button and let's get started. Here I've set up a Hearts Valentine's Day tough tray. The kids loved free playing with this, and making Valentine's Day cupcakes with the rice, and decorating them with little coloured hearts. I also added the free downloadable number matching activity from our pack into the tough tray, so that the children could hunt for the pieces and match them together. Lots of counting practice here. These hearts allow the children to match the number of small hearts on one half to the number on the other half. I do like to use the word half here with the children. Telling them to match the two halves helps to reinforce the idea for later that half means two pieces that fit together to make a whole. Counting the small hearts can be a bit tricky. If your child is struggling, one thing you can do is cover them up as you go to help the child to remember one-to-one recognition and keep track of those that they've counted. Or you could just use the lower number cards if you feel that your child isn't ready for higher numbers yet. You could also arrange the hearts in order to create a number line. Count up or down the number line. You could arrange the number line with one at the bottom, going vertically up to the number 10 at the top. When you've done this, you could ask the child to find the number that's one higher or one lower than any given number. Having the number line vertically will really help with this. It makes it much easier to see the higher and lower aspect. I also hid some coloured hearts for sorting in the tough tray. There's a printable jar sheet that you can use to sort them onto, or you can do what we did and place the labels on real jars. Away from the tough tray, try this cute craft to create your own mobile with your child. There's plenty of added learning about size in this craft too. To make the mobile, the hearts should be arranged with the largest at the top down to the smallest size at the bottom. To do this, much size vocabulary can be practiced with your child. Think about words like big, large, huge, bigger, smaller, larger than, smaller than, tiny. There are so many. Before you start with the children, ask them to show you with their hands a big size and a small size, spreading their arms wide or making a tiny gap between their fingers. Call out some of the different size vocabulary and see if they're able to show you an appropriate movement. Then you can order the hearts on the table once they're cut out from the biggest to the smallest. You can also identify any that are the same or equal in size. Then they can be coloured and threaded onto the string to create the mobile shown in this picture. We also have a number of heart-shaped Valentine's Day message cards that can be sent to friends or family. Some involve the child practicing writing by tracing over. Others allow older children to write their own message. Or you could write a message yourself and leave it for the child to find. Our final printable idea is, can you complete the Hearts Patterns sheet? Recognizing patterns is a very important skill for children, and predicting them can help later with maths or reading. Predicting what comes next in the pattern is beneficial for children as it has so many transferable skills. Identifying patterns in numbers for maths work later on, or the letters in words. Say the pattern through with your child, following along on the sheet. Go through this time and time again, asking the child to touch the corresponding colour heart as they go through. Try saying it faster and faster. If you stop, will your child keep going? This way, they will be able to eventually continue the pattern way beyond the sheet. Start with the simplest pattern first, alternating one. Start with the simplest pattern first, which would be alternating two colours, and build up from there. You could also try to do repeating patterns with physical movements. Ask the child to touch their head, and then their toes, and then their head, and then their toes, and then their head, and then their toes. They'll find this extremely funny, probably. Mine certainly did. But it demonstrates perfectly the nature of repeating patterns. You could also cut out the coloured hearts and place them around the room and have them run to the different ones that come next. Can they hold the pattern in their head as they move around? For something completely different, who wouldn't love these cute, delicious Valentine's Day heart-shaped cookies? My kids love making these sweet treats as much as eating them, and did lots of learning in the process. Baking involves so many skills for kids to learn as they create. First, they will need to understand that you follow a recipe, which tells you how to make the cookies. Older children will be able to read it for themselves, which is great practice, and younger ones will benefit from you reading it to them and pointing out things like the numbered points and the way the ingredients are listed. Older children can help you to weigh out the ingredients. Ask them how much is needed. Make sure you talk about the units, i.e. grams for weight or millilitres for liquids. Find where this number will be on a scale. You can also discuss the gaps between the numbered lines and practice counting up in these numbers. Younger children could simply tell you when you've put enough on the scales to reach the mark. Then ask, do I need a bit more? Or have I put in too much? Do I need to take some out? This recipe also involves quite a few cooking skills that even young children can join in with. There's stirring, rolling with a rolling pin, cutting out shapes, transferring to a baking tray, and of course, decorating. My kids love being involved with all these jobs. With stirring, most children will begin by stirring too gently or too violently. They'll need help to understand how much power and speed is needed. Help them to experiment with this. You could always use an empty bowl first if necessary. That will save you some mess. Using the rolling pin also requires this sort of measured approach. Discuss how the rolling pin flattens the dough out as you roll it over, gently pushing down. Show them how pushing down too much will make it too thin, but not pushing down at all doesn't flatten it. Again, the children will need time to experiment with this. Using the cookie cutter can help the children with their spatial awareness, as they need the whole cutter to fit onto the dough as many times as possible. Talk about working from one edge of the dough rather than cutting out straight away from the middle. Transferring the cut-out cookie to the baking tray is a delicate task. The children will need to concentrate and slow down in order to perform it effectively. Then after the baking, of course, comes the decorating. This is my kids' most favourite bit. But it still involves so much learning. Of course, there is a chance to be creative, but the small pieces that they're going to use will really help with their fine motor skills development. If you'd like to try and make these cookies for yourself, you can find the whole recipe on my blog linked in the description below. So, happy Valentine's Day! Try these activities and spread the love of learning while you have fun with your kids. Until next time, bye-bye.